There is no evidence that even links bin Laden directly to the 9/11 attacks.
So we've never made the case or argued the case that somehow Osama bin Laden was directly involved in 9/11. That evidence has never been forthcoming.
And he is not wanted by the FBI for the attacks. The authenticity of his confession tape is far from concrete. Shortly after 9/11, the Pentagon claimed to be in possession of a videotape that showed bin Laden confessing to the attacks. It was heralded as proof that an organised Al-Qaeda were responsible, but skeptics soon began to ask questions about its authenticity. The tape was remarkably found out of the blue in a house in Jalalabad, Afghanistan, and handed to the Pentagon by an unnamed source. While British Foreign Secretary Jack Straw and the Bush administration vouched for its credibility, others said it was of too poor quality and could have easily been fake. PhD Islamologist and Arabist Kevin Barrett, who has translated bin Laden tapes professionally, calls this tape the Fatty bin Laden tape, claiming his body weight and facial features are different from the real bin Ladens at the time. Barrett also claims the audio is only a passable imitation of bin Laden's voice. One explanation for bin Laden's appearance, at least, given by video expert Andrew Laws, is that the video image may have been squished from its original 4:3 ratio to add in the subtitles.
It's during that process that this distortion's occurred.
The smoking gun, however, comes from the US translation and not the footage itself. A scholar of Islamic and Arabic studies at the University of Hamburg did an independent translation. In German and European press, he said, "This tape is of such poor quality that many passages are unintelligible, and those that are intelligible have often been taken out of context so that you can't use that as evidence." The American translators who listened to the tape and transcribed it obviously added things they wanted to hear in many places. The Pentagon translation quotes the bin Laden character as saying, "We calculated in advance the number of casualties from the enemy," which implies prior to the attack they summed up how many people would die inside the towers. However, in the German translation, this quote becomes, "We calculated the number of casualties from the enemy," without the important words "in advance," which implies bin Laden and his associates were simply watching the news report and assessing the number of deaths like everybody else. The sentence, "We had notification since the previous Thursday that the event would take place that day," became, "We had received a message on Thursday." This could have been any message on any Thursday. And the quote, "We asked each of them to go to America," is said to be another mistranslation that should have said, "They were required to go to America," rather than being sent. The German translation removes any reference to bin Laden's involvement. This begs the question, who got it wrong? We might not know without a reinvestigation into all of this evidence. If it makes any difference, CIA officials have since come out and admitted to faking bin Laden tapes. As reported in the Washington Post, one video showed bin Laden and his cronies sitting around a campfire, swigging bottles of liquor and savouring their conquests with boys.